Hi, my name is Elugene Otiede, and I welcome you to this project presentation video. Uh, right here on screen, I have a very exciting project, and it's titled the Oilchem Mud School Certificate Portal. So it's actually a certificate portal, and currently, I'm glad to say that this solution is currently in use at a well reputable institution. It has been deployed to an institution. And the feedback gotten is that it serves um, the purpose for which they had purchased the solution, and indeed had made the whole certification process and certificate awarding process a lot more easier and stress free. And with this portal, this certificate management portal, it had helped them cut down greatly, like by 100%, the costs incurred at every point where they had to award certificates to students. So they operate 3 batches a year, and that means 3 batches of students, and for in a year, and for each batch, they would have to contact and pay for the designing and printing of certificates, and students would have to come over to the school's office to either get the certificate, or they had to pay for it to be sent to them. But with this solution, they no longer have to design, because this certificate management portal automatically designs the certificate. Is downloadable. So that means graduated students, no longer have to head over to school or to the institution's administrative office. They don't have to spend money in sending the certificate to students. They don't have to spend any other, there are no extra charges whatsoever. So all those charges have been, totally removed. Students can just check for their certificate, download it, and print it wherever they are at the time the certificate was awarded to them. The administrator or administrative personnel do not need to learn graphics designing, do not need to contact any graphics designer in order to get it designed. And at a goal in less than what it used to cost them, certificates are awarded, and under a day, or not just a few hours actually, all students are awarded, and they have their certificates from wherever. And it also have helped them solve the problem of imposters, people who just forge certificates from this institution, because it's a highly reputable institution, and use it to get jobs. So right now, the certificate portal also helps to verify the authenticity of any certificate that a potential employee claims to have been awarded by the institution. It's there, it's stated in the certificate, and all they do is just copy get the certificate number and check. Like you see on screen, we can see certificate found right here. And once it's found, it prints out the certificate, right? And if it's not found, it says it's invalid. And again, to add to it, it provides direct links to certificates. So for a certificate that is found, the link can be copied, which also helps to digitalize the certificate even more, as students can just copy the link and add the link to their social media profile to prove that they have been certified by the institution. So these are the relevance of the project and how the current institution working with this project have really benefited from, deploying this project or deploying this solution for their certificates or certifications, a certificate awarding department of the institution. All right. So, working on this project was quite interesting. And, I was able to complete this project under 4 weeks. Yeah, under 4 weeks of intensive work. Um, I was working every day for close to 12 to 15 hours, at least 12 hours, at most 15, 16 hours. And I had, in the period of working on this project, I only had 3 days off, just 3 days off. And those 3 days off, I still, you know, came in 1 hour to fix some things. Well, it's interesting, and I'm glad that it's marketable and it's valuable right now to an institution. So this project is a full stack project built with Rails backend only. That is built with Ruby on Rails, but backend API only. Actually, Ruby on Rails API only application. So the Rails API only application manages the backend logic, manages the data and server side logic, and as well the Postgres SQL database using the Postgres SQL database. Yeah. So aside the Rails API only application that is totally dedicated to the backend, so that's a backend application. It also comprises of two front end applications, and the two front end applications I built using React. Both applications are connected to the backend application, the Rails API only application, and they serve as user interface to either manage the data or display the data, right? So I'm going to walking us through the administrative and the CMS of this project, the CMS of the certificate portal. So, like I said earlier, it's built using React, and it is very engaging, really engaging. It's an engaging it has an engaging user interface. It's very simple and easy to use. So let's dive in right now. So I'll just this is a demo of the project. It's not the main deploy. It's a demo, like a demo of the project. So I'll just quickly log in. So I'm not. So just to be sure of what I have here on screen. All right. So this is it. We are there at the right link. Okay. So I'll just log in right now, and because I'm logged out, here it shows login. So I'll just log in. And once I've logged in, it's going to say sign out. It's going to change, and what will have displayed will be sign out and not login. have the right password. Okay, it's logged in right now. So apologies for that delay. The password there was wrong. So I after correcting the password, we got in. All right. So here on the first visit of the application, when you get in, what the administrator finds is the whole page. And right here is more like a statistics panel section that displays the total number of students, as you can see, certificates, personnel, and batches. Okay, so that gives more like a current overview of what we are managing. And below it, when you scroll down, you find batches. So it's expected that the administrator, the main personnel, uh, creates a new batch. What this certificate portal does, as I had designed it, here I needed to add more like the designing, the UI, UX, and everything uh, was within the scope of the project. And like I said, it was all executed within 4 weeks, under 4 weeks. And I would give credit to the great and solid background I've got in graphics and UI UX. It made it a lot more, easier to achieve all these within the short frame time frame that I had. Okay, so yeah, this certificate portal, this CMS groups students into batches, and the idea is that knowing that students graduate in batches, it will be easier to locate, to assess students and group them based on the year or the batch of graduation. So, for example, in 2023 can be class of 2023A, class of 2023B, class of 2023C, or just class of 2021, class of 2022, and that makes it easier. So it looks more like students being archived for easy referencing. So it is expected that, batches are created. So just quickly create a new batch, and I'm going to say class of 2024. Start date January 1st and end date January 31st, and submit. So the batch has been created. You see here, batch for 2024. Okay, so the next thing is to create students. So within each batch, you can view the students. You can also edit the batch just in case you made the the administrator makes an error. The batch is editable, simple, or just exit. So when we click view students, when there is no data to display, this is the default display where you can see on screen. And let's quickly add 3 students. So the first I will add here is Eden Bright. Submit. Easy. So one of the goal that I had on my checklist while coming up with this solution is to enable, what I say not I would prefer to say maybe to make the data creation process seamless, easy, and as fast as possible. To take off the borders, any burdensome feeling around it. Like you can see on screen, we created a student easily, and the certificate number or the student ID was, generated automatically by the application. So it makes it a lot easy, you know. So that means the institution do not have to have a a manual of physical record keeping or creation of numbers. With this, the institution or any institution that uses the solution will be able to, will be assured that every number assigned to a student or a certificate is unique, is very unique. So the next is to add another one, call it Godsin. Godsin Joe. Okay, so two is fine. Now, right here on screen, we have two students, and we have this student and this student. And on this below the action right here, we have a button that says create certificate. So that means the administrator can create a certificate for each student right from the student's card, right from the student section. And usually content management systems that keep record of data like this will most times it's commonly done using tables. So while I was doing the design, I thought of doing something that wouldn't look very complex because I understand working with people and as also a user interface and user experience expert, you know, I've come to understand that tables are great, but this is a CMS, and with the nature of record keeping, it's going to be table heavy if I'm going to make use of tables, and it can give a boring feel. What can I thought of what I could do, how I could present the data in a way that the administrator, any administrator, will feel excited to use this product, to work on, do the work, without feeling like they're in one cumbersome content, something super complex. I wanted it to be clean, to be neat, to be easy, you know, and the color choice as well was deliberate. I used a monochromatic color scheme or color swatch, so that it's still in the light of eliminating complexity, that picture of a complex content management system that gives users a feeling that they have to go for a special training in order to be able to use it. That is the aim or the background objective of the decisions around not using the regular table, which is great, but I didn't want to use that. And the color scheme. So if I'm not going to be using green, it's still going to be one color, but different shade, a mixture of different shades to make it look as simple as possible and yet comfortable to an appealing, to give a more appealing and comfortable user interface. And just to add to that, I also have understood that too many colors is bright, but for a CMS, it gives a it sends a signal, a picture of complexity to an administrator. But in this case, it's great to have that feel as well. But I did not want to send those pictures around this particular solution. Probably in another solution, I would. So right here, we could just quickly create a certificate. Now, the certificate is most of the fields are pre-filled. Of course, it can be edited, but if this project is deployed to an institution, I do some editing as per the pre-filling to fill out most of the common details, the regular patterns around the certification, so that the administrator would not have to do all these fillings manually over again repetitively. So they are pre-filled except for a case where they need to make any adjustments. It's fine. All the administrator would need to do at this point is select a start date, select the end date for the program, and a training director, a training instructor, and a training external instructor, right? So the instructor is pulled from this here where we have personnel. So if I open this personnel in a new tab, you'll find that we already have an existing personnel right here. We already have an existing personnel. So it manages the personnel name and the signature. It manages the personnel name and the signature. So that means it implies that a certificate cannot be added if there is no personnel. It's important that there is a personnel. So at that point, if the administrator had not added any personnel, it's important that it's the certificate creation is aborted and personnel created before resuming the certificate creation action. So currently we have just one personnel, just a personnel, and I can just select the personnel and click done, and we have the certificate. Now, watch what's going to happen. We just created a certificate for Cousin Joe, and automatically this create certificate button gets replaced by certificate created. And the aim or the objective behind this is not to make the project a lot more stylish, although it does, or a lot more dynamic. Seeing yes, it does. But the main objective is to help the administrator keep track of the students who have been awarded certificates. So it eliminates the potential of multiple creation of a certificate for a particular student. That is the main objective. And to ice things up, this certificate created is clickable. So I'm going to just open in a new tab, and you'll see that it takes, or without even opening in a new tab, because it is the project is navigation heavy. Yeah, so we can navigate back. When I click on it, it takes me to that particular certificate. You can see here, Gossen Joe, the certification number, and the batch name. Gossen Joe is clickable, and that means that when you click on Gossen Joe, it takes you to where Gossen Joe can be found as a student. And with this, it's easy to find a student and then go to find a certificate and head over to the student who owned the certificate to probably correct the name of the student, yeah, and or delete the student. So the certificate number can be copied. I just click the copy icon and we can test it out. Here I'll just paste, and you can see I have the certificate ID here. So by just clicking the copy icon, I have copied that. And the class of 2024 takes the administrator to that batch called class of 2024. So that's all. And then we can just head back to the students where we clicked the certificate created from. So that's it here. And as well, if a student had called and said, I need some support and don't know my certificate number, it's also the unique number, I'm not sure, I lost it, they can be easily found and the admin can just copy and send, which eliminates the potential of making errors if the administrator was left with the only option of writing it down or copying it down. So the automatic copy system promotes accuracy. So the final thing here on students is the ability to delete students. So I just delete, and done. So deleting is done by selecting and then deleting. So we can head over to certificates. After the just beneath the home icon, we have certificates icon. So on the certificates page, we will find all the certificates created, all of them created. Currently, we have four certificates. And if you go home, here we have four certificates. You can see the total. Now, this certificates page is quite my favorite. Yeah, not the home page, the certificate page. And that's because it does a whole lot. From the certificate page, the administrator can just search for a student. So let's search for Joseph and filter. Okay, I wasn't sure if a student called Joseph existed. Oh, I called it Joseph. I added an E. Okay, yeah. So we can see Joseph James, class of 2019, exists. So the administrator can just search for the name of student or the ID. I copied an ID, then I just search and it's going to pop up. You can see we have Godson Joe, and you can see the ID tallies with the ID that I just searched for. So it's nice because it helps it saves the time that the administrator would have used in searching for a student, going from one card to the other, from one certificate to the other, checking for the names of the students. So a student can call and say, I want an adjustment made on my certificate, there is an error, and the administrator can just head over here, search for the name. All the administrator needs is, can I have your name or can I have your unique ID? And do the search, find, and edit, of course, and do the editing. And that solves it. So it's my favorite part, really. And another thing that makes it my favorite page on the application is that from this certificate, if I'm going to be an administrator, working with this kind of portal that I have built right here, this will be my favorite go-to page. It's going to be like my home page because right from here, I can go to the batch right from this very place, right? I can go to the students, just the students only. You can see just the students. And it's and another amazing thing about the navigation is when I head to James Brown and I go back, I find James Brown. It doesn't take me to the very top. It takes me back to where I left it. So it really eases up the work, and it really serves as a solution, not just meeting the primary objectives, but also presenting other functionalities that makes the application really easy to use and save a lot of time that would have been consumed in navigating through the pages and each page. Another exciting feature that we cannot see right now is the load more and load less button. So after 20 cards, right, the load more button comes up. We can't see it now because we don't have up to 20 cards right now or 20 certificates right now. So after 20, we have the load more, and for every time the load more is clicked, it loads an extra of 12, an extra of 12. And when it gets to the end, it changes to load less, and it loads less by 12, and stops when it is displayed, when the page has just 20 cards on display on screen. So I'm not able to show it to you right now because we do not have we have insufficient data, to display that feature. But the buttons look like this. This color, the background, Yeah, it has a border radius. It's curved, and the the load more looks just like this font with an arrow button that points down, and the load less points upwards. And it's exciting. It's exciting. So the load more button is green, and the load less button is white color, white background, and that text. All right. You see, it's a project that I really really enjoyed working on, and I have also walked us through the personnel page as well to add and delete personnels as the administrator wishes to do. So that is all about the administrator or CMS application for the certificate portal. Now, before I wrap up on the CMS and then take us to the user end, I just want to speak again on the reasons why I really like the idea of using cards rather than the table. And having these titles for each card was a deliberate decision because I have, as I said, a user experience expert. Um, I always would want to factor ease, simplicity, and ease um, when in my designs. I could have added this titles, this heading section just at the top, and the cards without the headings. But at every point, at every section of the page, I want, I intended for the administrator to have a wholesome feel, of as though nothing is missing. So the headers are in display, which makes the data and the header, easily referenced by the administrator. So it's easy for the administrator to easily reference any of the data to any of the headings. And I really, really, really am glad I was able to achieve this. Using tables is great, but I love this with the volume of data. I feel it would have been a lot much more cumbersome, which defeats the major objective of um, simplicity with the user interface from my end. Now we are done. We're looking at the CMS application for the certificate portal. We will be looking at the okay, that's the older version, the user end. So right here is also the second application, and it's user focus. It's user focus. The administrator or the CMS is administrative or administrator focused, while this other application here on screen, that is the verification portal. This is the verification portal, and this is the CMS, the content management system, just in case. So the aim of the certificate verification portal right here is to enable users to be able to, or students to be able to check if their certificates have been awarded, copy, get direct link to their certificate, and also download their certificates and also verify. So, it's this certificate, as we see here, is auto generated every time a certificate needs to be displayed, and as well as the QR code. The QR code is authentic as when scanned, it brings up the name of the student, the name of the school, and the certificate ID. That is another way that employers can verify the authenticity of these certificates, other than heading to the certificate verification portal. I don't need that. So I'm just going to test this quickly. I'm going to copy one of these certificates here. So we had James Brown. So I'm going to copy James Brown and then head over here, and I'll just quickly refresh. Refreshing or not doesn't matter, but I just want to show us how it looks like when nothing has been searched. Just simple and easy to use, straight to the point. So I'm just going to paste this and then search. And you see here we have certificate found. Certificate found. So we can just copy this right here and just paste it. That's a direct certificate link right there. So it's checking. So, oh, found. Yeah. So this is a direct certificate link and it's found. So on the direct certificate link, the form or the search bar is not visible, is not available because it is a direct certificate link. All that needs to be seen is of course the link, like the copy to clipboard button that copies the link to the certificate, which is necessary, and also the button to download and also the certificate most importantly. And from here, we have just a simple navigation button here that just takes the user home. So okay, I, I think I already have it here. So now that we have our certificate here, the last thing we're going to try out is downloading the certificate. So uh, we'll just quickly try out some James Brown again. Just copy. I think we already have that. Okay, yeah, James Brown. You see, it automatically generates everything. So when we click download certificates, it downloads the certificate, it converts it to a PDF and for download purpose, and it downloads it. You can see it's it's um, it's ready to print. It's clear, it fits the dimension and ready to print. Just zoom out to help you see it clearly. Right. So that's it. And for this particular application, that is the user end. My favorite part of it is working on this part. You know, I wanted to design something, being with my experience as a graphics designer, and I was able to achieve this without using any SVG. So it's all purely HTML, and I was able to do that and convert it to PDF using JSPDF library. And here we have it, all set, done, and perfect. So this is the most exciting part for me. It was quite challenging at the start because I had to style and to ensure that the style on the digital certificates is the same as the downloaded certificates. And that was something, but I'm glad I was able to achieve the aim as well. So this is all about the certificate verification portal, and yeah, it's an amazing project. Indeed, it's relevant and it's currently in use, and I'm excited about it. You know, it's really exciting when one crafts a solution and it's actually serving a purpose, and someone out there is smiling, an institution is smiling uh, because of the solution, and it's really fulfilling that by just deploying this solution, an institution has saved a lot of money for years. Going forward for years, a lot of money has been saved, a lot of time has been saved, and you know it's easy to achieve these things that would have been a lot more complex. So it's available for tertiary institutions, for secondary institutions, primary institutions, for diplomatic institutions if there are, but any institution that awards certificate. So my name is Elogene Otiede. I'm a software engineer, and it was a pleasure presenting this project or this product to you. So leave your thoughts in the comments section and also test out this project for yourself. I'll see you again in my next project presentation. Thanks for joining me on this one. Thank you.